had a stinker of a UFC fight card.
We did have a stinker.
Did you watch it? I saw the highlights on social media. I didn't even watch the full fight.
Yeah. I saw a lot of
Yeah.
comparisons. I saw some memes about like comparing Adesanya Romero.
Yeah.
There's just like Romero standing and then Aspen Ladd standing on
Oh,
the other
yeah.
side, like 10 meters apart. I heard it was just standing there.
Come here.
So
Yeah.
was it kind of boring?
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, the highlights I saw, there's apparently a little bit of controversy about Aspen Ladd's, about the coach.
Yes,
And then
yes.
being very.
I think a coach was being aggressive or something,
Yeah.
or just like yelling something at
Yeah.
her. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just,
Well, that's also the thing is like, I didn't watch the fight. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But if there's anyone that knows her
yeah.
as good as she is in the cage, it is her coach, you know.
And-
So
I personally don't think there's anything wrong with coaches getting a little bit worked up.
yeah.
You have experience with that. I have experience with that.
I literally have experience where I was in the fight, one round is done, and my coach coming to me and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm trying my best. I don't know what to tell you. So sorry.
Yeah, all coaches get emotional, get
And
pissed off.
they're just invested in the fight as
Yeah.
you know, any good coach is just as invested in the fight as you are, you know. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Just
that's really all that I saw from the event.
all coaches,
Yeah.
if they care about you, they're gonna scream at you. And I think he was just so like, Aspen, what are you doing out there?
Yeah.
And that got him a little bit worked up.
Yeah.
But looking forward to the UFC.
Man, the next upcoming events
Can't
are
wait.
going to be insane.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for that. Let's talk about, we actually on social media, we did a few questions.
We did a few.
Yes,
We did a few.
We
So I'm
asked
just gonna-
people, so basically we asked people, they can send in some questions and we'll answer it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
So send in comments on Instagram, DMs. If
Comments
there
on
is
the YouTube channel as well, and then we'll do a segment maybe every 2 weeks or maybe
Whatever.
every single time.
Depends
we'll
on how
see.
many questions we get.
Yeah, we'll see how
So
it goes.
basically all of these are, well, not all of them, but most of them are for you. So there's
Okay.
one, have you ever been in a street fight?
What does a street... Okay, I was in a school fight once, and I did a Showtime kick because... So a guy punched me on my back. So he punched me like on my spine. And for the people that don't know, there's nothing that pisses me off that much as when people bump me in my back. It's like, I don't know why.
Getting
I
hit
don't
from
know if I have
behind.
trauma as a child, but it immediately angers
Just
me.
set something
Yeah.
off.
And he punched me in the back, and then he walked away and he flipped me off. So he's like, "You're tuning me," and then I ran. But I still remember we were on the upper floor, and there were people just down the stairs watching this whole commotion. And then in my mind, I was still grade 8 at the time, so I was
Yeah.
like 14. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I have to do something cool because there's too many people watching. So I ran up, and then I jumped off the wall, and then Showtime kicked his legs underneath him. He fell on his back, and then we got called in, and it was a
whole story.
a whole
I'm
story.
gonna try and see if I can get a photo of that hallway, and then we can put like a graphic illustration.
That would be so funny.
Anyway.
But that was the school fight. One street fight. Well, it doesn't really count. Someone attempted to rob me.
Yeah,
Now,
that's not a street fight. That's
yeah.
self-defense. But
Yeah.
we're here for it anyway.
I had a friend, and he was grabbed by his belt. And then what they do is they pretend like they're drunk, and then they come forward and they grab you by your belt, and then obviously you protecting your crotch, so
Yeah.
you don't think about it. But what they're doing is they're lifting the pants from your legs, and then as they pull you, they pickpocket your phone. And that happened to a friend of mine, and then his phone got stolen like that. And then the one night we were out partying after a fight, and I had to walk someone back to their Uber because it's also not very safe in that street where we partied.
I don't know if we can say the street where it happened.
No, let's not.
Let's not.
Let's
It's Hatfield.
It's in Hatfield. It's in Pretoria.
We'll say that
yeah.
much.
And I walked back, and as I walked back, this big guy came up to me and he grabbed me by my belt, and then obviously my mind went.
Yeah,
so-
you know what's happening. Yeah.
I was quite drunk as well. And then I hit him, boom, and then he dropped and he fell. And then I don't know why, but I got very scared immediately. So I started running down the street. And then I ate shit in the street. So I tripped over my feet and I hit my face on the floor. I had open marks on my arms, my leg, my jean was torn. My favorite jean was torn open. And then I got back to the one, we won't say the place, but we got back there and we were dancing and my girlfriend started crying because she's like, what happened? And I'm like, no.
I won.
I won. I beat someone. So that's really street fights. No, there was no street fights.
I don't know.
Have you had a street fight?
No.
Because you were also in the hostels.
Yes,
so
yes.
I can imagine the chances of that happening is quite big.
It does get up there, and not really street fights, but I mean there is pushing and shoving. If you're in a race at the university, the races like to push and shove each other, so that happens a lot. But it rarely gets to brawls where people are throwing fists and stuff.
Yeah. But I must say, some of my teammates have talked about their university years and how they got into like wars, like season 8 of Game of Thrones type of Battle of the Bastards. They went at it.
You're saying that now, and the point I'm going to try and make now is complete opposite of that. But maybe it still works. Yeah. So in my experience, what I've seen is if guys can fight, they know what they're doing, they rarely try and start shit.
Most definitely. I agree with you. Because also guys that know how to fight probably do it weekly. So why would you want to go do it on your day?
Not just that, but you have nothing to prove.
Exactly.
If you know you can beat someone's ass, why would you go out and be like, oh, I can beat your ass? Who cares? Cool.
So it is something that I think a lot of fighters, I think they get tired also about being in those situations in public, because I think that happens quite a lot, where people try and push your buttons or push you past the edge, and it's actually so stupid.
I swear that happened to you in high school a lot, where people were like, oh girl, I could take you.
It happened quite a bit, but I was tired most of the time.
You can't feed
training 2 to 4, 5 hours a day. You don't want to do it when you are taking a break.
Not just that, but there's no way to win.
Yes.
If that guy's right and he can beat your ass, you look bad. But if you win, then you just know, like, okay, obviously
that did nothing.
Then you look like a bully.
Exactly, it did nothing for me. So if I win, it does nothing. If I lose, it does a lot.
It does a lot.
And it hurts the ego as well.
Next one is Habib really considered to be a GOAT if you only beat like 3 good opponents?
And we've touched on the GOAT conversation.
Let's get into the GOAT conversation.
Like, there are 10 guys I would put in front of him.
Okay, I don't know if I would put 10 in front of him.
There's a lot.
There
like
is,
if
guys.
you go back into the history of the UFC, just the UFC.
Yes.
There are so many guys that I think had a more impactful career than Khabib. What he did was amazing. It was for sure insane. In terms of dominance, there's maybe
very little
little like him. Yes, but if you check the guys that he has fought and you compare it to other weight classes and the calibers, it's debatable.
Yeah, he did fight a few tomato cans at the start of his career, especially,
which is not a bad thing.
No, absolutely not.
It was a smart career.
But that record, Tony Ferguson brought this up, is a lot of his early fights were 2-round fights.
Yeah.
Which he said, okay, that's not MMA. I think, okay, it is MMA. It's just 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But there's a lot you can say about him to bring him down. But he's amazing. But talking about this, who is your GOAT?
That's very hard. That is hard to... I don't have a number one. GSP is up there.
Yes.
John Jones, putting his other stuff to the side.
Separating the fighter and the person.
BJ Penn, also separating his stuff, he is most definitely up there as well for what he has achieved. Conor, obviously, he did for
the sport. But he was never really dominating. He was really good. Yeah, really, really good. Featherweight Conor McGregor is another animal.
Champ Conor. He was so dominant.
I don't think he did. He didn't have enough title defenses for me, or didn't have enough fights at that stage to really get into the conversation. But if he had, like a few more years defending, or like 2 years defending both belts, he would be up there. Absolutely.
And then guys, you know, like if we go to the heavier guys, Daniel Cormier was brilliant for his time. Stipe Miocic, you know,
he's the heavyweight GOAT in my opinion.
Cain Velasquez. Yeah, Cain as well.
I would pick Stipe above him.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Stipe.
And then you have Max Holloway. He is my favorite. You know,
he is good.
He was also very dominant.
Let's condense it. Who's your featherweight GOAT? Because there's 2 people in that category. Jose Aldo.
Max Holloway.
Max Holloway. Well,
for me personally, I know people are going to be like, oh no, how would you choose that? I know people are going to be mad, but for me, that he is just, he is.
I think,
and then Jose Aldo, he should be up there.
Yes, absolutely. Jose Aldo should be the day he retires, put him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
absolutely,
most definitely. And then you have guys like TJ Dillashaw at the lighter weight. It's. I don't like saying it, but Henry Cejudo, for what he has done, not only in this sport, but in Olympic wrestling as well, it's debatable, you know.
But I would say, for me, my GOAT, GSP.
Yeah. I think we can agree on that. Like, that it's very close for me between a bunch of guys, but GSP
is... He had that Khabib dominance for a few years.
Yeah.
So yes, a lot of people want to say, oh, Johnny Hendricks beat him, and he only came back for one fight and everything, but just his philosophy around the sport, the way he and John Danaher think about MMA, about jiu-jitsu, about everything is just incredible.
It's insane. What I must say, something, and we've talked about that, is how well Khabib ran his career. Because let's be honest, he fought some dangerous guys, but for the amounts of money he got paid, which was a lot, he got big red pants.
He made a lot,
and the guys he fought for that,
they weren't all Conor McGregor money.
They weren't, but he made.
Sorry, Conor names, but he got Conor money for fighting other guys.
And that is. Well, I don't know who. Maybe his dad, his management staff.
You have to. I hate to do this.
Yeah.
I can't stand him. But credit to Ali Abdelaziz.
Yeah, I'm not a big that guy.
Stand Ali.
Brilliant. You know, for
amazing
the amount
manager.
of money he made in his career, for the guys that he fought, it's unparalleled to anyone else.
Absolutely.
If you check who John Jones has fought.
Yeah,
and the amount he makes
good money,
a lot of
but
money,
he didn't make big money,
and he fought killers. He fought. Killers.
You can argue John Jones fought more difficult, had more difficult fights than Khabib.
No, that's not even an argument.
That's not
most definitely
true.
That most definitely.
So that fight against Gustafsson that he was just had.
Yeah,
I mean, touchy subject, and people are. That's the night he got thrown in or got arrested and everything. But that was such a banger of a fight.
Insane fight. So you can debate, and then eras as well. If you ask someone that's like 60 or 70, their GOAT will be
exactly.
guys that start crotch kicking each other. So it depends. And we forgot to mention the great emperor himself. Yes, Fedor. Yeah,
Emelianenko. That man, he has a real claim to be one of the greatest of all time. Absolutely.
So, and then you have, like Fedor, you have these older guys that we actually off the top of our head can't even think about.
Can mention about.
And then you have them. So I think every era you have a special bunch of guys, and you can see it now as well. People stepping up to the plates, raising their hands and saying, "Hey, check it move."
There's so many good guys, but I mean, undefeated, undisputed, Charles Sonnen is the GOAT.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you one more.
And Artem Lobov.
And that is, do you think there's a way to get you into the Contender Series?
I saw that question, and yes, there is. We can maybe work on getting that.
Let's rephrase that just a little bit. Can you tell us about your career going forward? Is there some things you can drop right now, or would you rather keep it on the down low for later?
There's nothing for now. There is nothing confirmed for this month or the month after.
Yeah.
We are still checking. We luckily, we have people around us like my team and my coach and Drickus and stuff. And we have these people that I can turn to in terms of telling me what the best career path is. Dann White Contender Series, I saw Jake Hadley. He missed weight. He fought
another guy I can't stand, but kudos to him.
Yeah. He always chats shit on my social media.
Really?
What a loser. But
Hadley versus Saaiman.
Yeah, what a dumbass. I'll break him. And but he's congratulations to him. Next time he needs to make weight. Because now everyone is pissed off at him. Lacquer, that's what you get for being unprofessional.
Didn't he come to the EFC with Yannick Behati?
He did.
Lacquer. Another
Shame,
guy.
I saw Yannick, he lost his Bellator fights, and I saw a video where he was in tears.
Yeah.
And then for like a split second, I felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
And then I just remembered how rude he was when he came
with
here.
Pickers,
And then he got his neck choked off. So. But anyway, back to the question. We have opportunities, and we are exploring all the options, and we have some time. There is some possibilities, and I can't disclose anything now, but it's exciting stuff.
Of course not. Yeah. Well, it's nice for people to see that, because I feel like a lot of fighters, you don't know anything about them, but it is nice to hear from you, especially like, okay, no, we are working on stuff. Yeah. Don't worry.
Well, that's the most important thing, is like the hardest work is being put in the gym. Yes, and whatever will come from that is great, but the focus is training. So
of course,
and we've been doing that. It's been
I've only fought
twice. Yeah, I've only fought twice this year, but we have been in camp technically this whole year.
Yeah,
and I enjoy it. So that's what I want to do. I want to be an active fighter, and COVID didn't allow that as much. Now stuff are opening up, so hopefully from next year we're gonna have a much more active year.
Let's hope so.
Competing wise,
Let's chat about next week's UFC. We are back to form in the UFC.
Yes. Yeah, we're actually gonna watch this time.
We're gonna wake up again.
Yes.
It's fights worth waking up for again.
It is.
Can't wait.
It is, most definitely.
So I mean, the one that I'm thinking about now. Yeah. So people who've watched us know we like to bet on MMA.
Yes. We like betting.
We like betting on MMA.
We hate losing. Yeah.
And something that just keeps surprising me, we touched on this earlier, or I think last week, was how is Paulo Costa an underdog?
Yeah, it is surprising. I don't know if they take into account like Vettori has been fighting. Yeah. And Paulo Costa, if you lose points by embarrassing yourself on social media, then I understand he's the underdog,
of course.
And he had that hair transplant.
Oh yeah.
he had very bold statements about being drunk when he fought Adesanya. Yes. So, and Vettori has been more active. So maybe the bookies know something that we don't. And
the only way I can't really wrap my head around this is Vettori. He's a good fighter. I don't think his stand-up is on the level that Paulo Costa is. When he was fighting Kevin Holland, so he was obviously wrestling.
Yeah.
But he had a few moments there, I think in round 3.
Yeah.
Or round 5, sorry.
Yeah.
Where like he was standing up with Holland, and Holland like he rocked him a few times.
Yes,
you could see he was a little bit wobbly on the feet.
And then he would divert back to the wrestling.
Yes, exactly. I think Paulo Costa has better takedown defense than
something
Kevin
that
Holland.
I do know is like Costa has much more power than Holland.
Oh yeah,
like I think
he's juiced to the gills.
If those Brazilian supplements.
If
Costa lands like Holland landed, especially in the later rounds, I think he finishes the fight. And I think that's also, Costa has better wrestling, I do believe, but he's just so tough. He's so durable.
Yes.
So I don't see
he's a
Vettori.
Brawler.
And that's the thing. I think Vettori gets catched in that brawl, because I don't think his stand-up is good enough to be technical against Costa. Yes. So it's going to be interesting.
It's the battle of the two biggest middleweights. If I'm not mistaken, I think Costa's fight night weight is something insane, like 213 pounds. And Vettori is like 210.
What's 213 pounds?
So that's about 95, 94 kgs.
Okay. That's size.
That's a big.
Well, you forgot to mention Dricus du Plessis.
Yes. I don't know. I don't don't know how big he is on Fight Night.
I don't know exactly, but he's a thick boy.
Thick boy.
Big thickie. So, but you have these two guys and they're up there. If they rematch Adesanya again, will they beat him? No. There's no way. And that's sort of problem I see at middleweight, because we have up-and-comers coming into that weight.
We
are biased again.
But of course.
We are seeing a little bit of a gap between the top five.
I would say Adesanya, Whittaker, they're up there. Yeah. Maybe who else would you put up there?
It's very hard. Dricus du Plessis. It's a very hard way to call, Yes. What would be interesting is if Prochaska actually came down to middle.
Yes, that would spice things up.
Imagine. That would be
that cool would spice things up.
That for a championship fight.
Yes. Talking about Prochaska, I don't think he beats Jan, but we can get into that at a later stage.
Okay.
I was just rewatching that Adesanya Blachowicz fight the other day. So people like to talk up Prochaska. He's a really good striker.
Yeah.
Absolutely is. But I mean, Blachowicz was doing technical kickboxing with Adesanya, blocked every single leg kick.
Yes.
Adesanya landed a lot of significant feints on him. But
yes.
It meant nothing.
Yes.
So, but he was kickboxing with Adesanya and he was beating him at it.
Yeah.
So I think Jan is still underrated, and I think still people aren't giving him the respect he deserves. And I think he beats up Glover in 2 weeks.
Yes,
I think he's gonna beat Teixeira badly.
I like Teixeira, and I like the underdog story as well. It's like Rocky,
Yeah.
And Teixeira beating Anthony Smith was such a surprise for most people. And I would like to see that again, because it would be a great story.
Blachowicz
41, 42-year-old. I don't know how old
that would be an amazing story.
Getting the belt, and that would actually make the whole roster. It will shake things up.
It would, but I would rather see Prochaska and Blachowicz fight than Teixeira and
Blachowicz.
Than Teixeira and Prochaska.
Oh yes, most definitely.
Yeah. I think that's a much more interesting fight, and you can't wait.
Yes.
Let's just quickly chat about some drama. Not too bad, but some accusations were thrown at Team CIT about trying to cheat when it comes to weights for that Submission Kings.
So let's just explain to people. We had a Submission Kings. We had a quintet.
Just explain the background. Yeah.
And it was for charity, and that was awesome. That we got to help raise awareness and raise some money for the SA MMA fund. So shout out to Big Al and to Justin Ferrer. I don't know how you say Ferrer. They are doing amazing work raising funds for athletes to go to Worlds and stuff like that. And yes, there was a bit of drama with the whole quintet. We had a 5-man team which we were planning on entering. I was actually cutting weight for that because we wanted one of our amateurs, Tapelo, we wanted him to weigh in with us. So we have a full 5-man team. So it was me. Tal, as far as I know, he cut a little bit of weight. Dricus cut quite a bit of weight. I was cutting quite a bit. And then Liam, quite a bit, meaning a few lot kilos for a grappling match. So, and then Liam also lost a few kilos. And we were actually quite happy with the team we set up. It was the whole thing jumped on us quickly because, believe it or not, it's not our full-time job to do grappling matches. So, and then Tapelo got sick, and then, obviously his coach and everyone decided that it's better.
I can just quickly speak about that.
Yeah, because you also train with him.
So Tapelo is one of my training partners, and he's fighting this weekend at Versus.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, to put him in jeopardy, put his health at jeopardy, at risk, by entering him into a grappling match, which, let's be honest, doesn't mean anything for his career, rather they let him recover so he can properly cut weight for.
Yes.
I think he's fighting the bantamweight semi-final or something.
No, so he's definitely up there.
Yes.
He is now 3-0, looking to go 4-0.
Yes.
So he's up there when it comes to the bantamweights we have.
The point is, this is a big fight.
It is a massive. It is a very big fight for him. It actually has a lot of. There's a lot riding on him, performing. So he got sick, and then again, grappling matches are not our priority. We fight MMA. So he had to pull out due to illness. He was sick, and so we rocked up with the 4-man team.
Yeah, because to find a replacement bantamweight in that type of time, it's not easy.
It's not, especially in our gym. We don't have a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a big gym.
I get my ass kicked by other big guys.
Yeah, especially guys that have that level of grappling, have that level of wrestling.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult to find. So there was space for him in that team, but unfortunately he had to pull out.
So we actually wanted him to weigh in at about 63 kilos, and then we would have been on weight. And then we pitched up 4-man team. We still showed up. We did more than some other teams.
Drickus did more than an entire team.
No, I'm speaking about we actually pitched up.
Yes.
We actually rocked up. We didn't make excuses. We asked the showrunners, we asked the management, whatever the guys that were doing the event, is it okay? And we got yes. We got the yes.
I mean,
so
contrary to what some people say, having a 4-man team in a quintet is not an advantage
it's not at all.
Except if all 4 are 100 kilos, yes, maybe, but they weren't. There was space for that one more bantamweight that couldn't make it, unfortunately.
So, and that's also the thing. Like, you are speaking about, just Drickus as an example.
Yeah.
This man has, every fight from now on is the biggest fight of his life.
Absolutely.
So, for him to actually agree to do this for a company or for an organization or for people that it doesn't benefit him a lot, it was really upsetting seeing, comments made afterwards about how we as a team cheated when we actually did more than any other. We actually pitched up, and there were talks about other teams entering and then injuries. We also have injuries constantly.
More than in grappling, I would imagine.
Yes, most definitely.
Because guys get whacked.
Yeah, of course. And but we still pitched up. So, and it was very upsetting seeing comments and then people saying that other teams were upset. And then just also other thing, and Warren King was the guy that they said oversaw all the rules for the event. And he said it himself. We watched the podcast.
Yes, we watched it
together,
first.
And he said it himself. He oversaw all the rules. He said that in the podcast.
So it was okay then.
But
now
it does not make sense.
Okay,
so you let it slide, and then afterwards you say you made the rules or you oversaw the rules. Why didn't we? Why didn't we have? Because if they told us, listen, guys, you can't be a 4-man team. Great, then we can go back to our normal training. We can go back to the gym. We don't have to do grappling matches.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that. So it was, all in all, the event was great.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I'm looking forward to the next one to watching it. There's no way I'm competing.
And I'm going to say this on the podcast now. We have an extra Team CIT pants that we are going to sign. And myself will sign it. Drickus will sign it. We'll also get Liam and Tol to sign the shorts as well, and then you can sign it as well if you want to. And then we're going to actually put it up for auction, and then all those proceeds will go to the South African MMA Fund. We'll make sure that they receive all the money from that auction, and in that way, just like we did when we showed up and didn't make dumbass excuses, we showed up, and in that way we can also help the MMA Fund. And I really hope they made a lot of money from donations, and this is also another way we can help. We can help the fund
to grow South African MMA at the grassroots.
That's the way the whole, and that was the whole purpose of that event. And I think especially afterwards, yes, we had sour teams, we had sour competitors, and they've lost touch to why we actually did it.
There were some things also said that I know about the rash guards. I'm sure if they told you beforehand,
having
a rash guard isn't going to be
black Under Armour rash guard in my bag. If they told me, listen, you have to compete in it, I would have put it on.
Yeah.
And same with Drickus. He had an MMA fund rash guard that he was planning, like it was there.
Yeah.
So just, making claims that we try to cheat by doing stupid shit like that is so... It is really the dumbest excuses. And then next time, if you get someone to oversee the rules, make sure they implement it, because otherwise it doesn't help that guy.
You can't complain about the rules if you're the one implementing
yes. them. And but hats off again to Big Al, the Big Al podcast. Alistair Bishop, Justin.
We have to say the issue of this and the issue and the event are two completely separate things.
Most definitely. There's the issue after the fact. The event was actually so
insane.
Much fun. It was so much fun. Just we didn't do much the first round. So I was just sitting there. I was actually making jokes to some of my teammates that were there and just saying, yes, like we worked so hard.
For those who don't know, is Drickus took out an entire quintet by himself.
Yes.
Neck hunting.
Yes, and that was also not an easy task for him.
No,
people
absolutely
were like,
not.
No, he's cheating, he's too heavy. I think next time will be the Team CIT Thick Boys.
Yeah.
That will be our name. And if that's not our name on the screen and on stream, then we're not competing.
Yeah. So, you also told me the reason you didn't wear the rash guards is not anything to get an advantage. Just because you're known as Little Thicky, Drickus is Big Thicky.
And Big Thicky.
And they just wanted to show their thickness.
We just wanted to show the thickness to the public. So if you want a lot of donations, you must get the Thick Boys there.
You must get the Thick Boys.